I think I've always been sensitive to discomfort. My mum talks about how I cried for 2 years straight after being born. It didn't matter if it was puppies, kittens, family members. I didn't like anyone. It probably didn't help much that I was allergic to so many things either. Eggs, pine, fresh cut grass, dog saliva, dust. Probably water and air as well. I remember at the beach one day, my skin stinging as though I'd been stung by a jellyfish, but I hadn't. It was just my eczema reacting to the salt water. My parents put a lot of time and energy into trying to ease my discomfort, but it was only with aging that my sensitivities really started to wane. I got pretty good at looking after myself too. Through trial and error, I figured out what worked for me, how to soothe my skin when it became inflamed, what to eat, what not to eat, and what my major triggers were and how to avoid them. Basically, as I grew up, I became comfortable with managing discomfort because there was a seemingly never-ending world of things that could make me feel like crap each day. And realistically, I was the only one who cared enough about my comfort to do anything about it in the long term. But don't start feeling bad for child me, okay? I was raised with plenty to be thankful for. So despite the problems that frustrated me daily, I don't think I ever really let that stop me as a child. And it was only really when I started to get older and social approval became currency that I really started to feel the weight of what made me different. Welcome to the Daily Mind Trap, where my hope is that collectively we can learn about our world, develop self-awareness, and maybe even find comfort in chaos. Today, I'd like to discuss the concept of learning the hard way, and of course, how it sits in opposition to learning the easy way. Do we really have a choice? What are the outcomes of either? Which way is the best way? And what does it even mean to learn a lesson?
All that and more coming up next.
One of the most common places that you'll generally hear the concept of the easy way or the hard way is when somebody's trying to get you to listen to their advice. We've all been there. You're 14 years old and you're at a friend's house for a sleepover. Your friend's dad has had too many beers and is trying to communicate with you.
Life's easy when you live it the hard way, and hard if you try to live it the easy way.
You pretend to listen, but even if you're really trying, you might struggle to understand what he's truly on about. So, despite the obvious reasons we didn't learn anything, when we haven't experienced something personally, our level of understanding is limited by our ability to empathize with somebody else's story, apply it to our own lives, and ultimately to learn from their experiences. Most of us probably have some regrets. We might still find ourselves ruminating, trying to grasp how things may have played out differently had we just made a different decision in that precise moment from our past. You've probably heard the expression, hindsight is 20/20, which means that it's generally easier to analyze and evaluate events after you've experienced them, as opposed to when you're experiencing it. Hindsight also accounts for why people like giving advice in the first place. When people remember the mistakes that they made, sometimes they hope that they can prevent somebody else, usually a younger person, from going through that pain as well. If you learn something in the school of hard knocks, you learn it as a result of difficult or unpleasant experiences. It can also be called the University of Life. This type of knowledge is often referred to as street smarts, as opposed to academic knowledge. And to best exemplify taking the easy way, the wonderful writers at Wikipedia have prepared the following section for me. The term School of Hard Knocks originated in the US, with its earliest use tracing back to 1870 in a book titled The Men Who Advertise. The author states, his misfortunes were largely owing to the inexperience of youth. Trained, however, in the School of Hard Knocks, he now had learned the theory of success. The term also appears in a 1918 issue of the Peninsula Enterprise newspaper. Much of our education is to be obtained only in the School of Hard Knocks. There is no age limit, and the sooner we are graduated, the better for us. I can recognize at least two primary thoughts in the historical use of this phrase. Number one, the debate over the value of different types of knowledge. In this case, informal versus formal education. Fun fact, in 1947, newspaperman James Franklin Comstock founded the University of Hard Knocks, an honorary society with a mission to recognize people who had made a success of their life without the benefit of higher education. And number two, older generations were just harder. They believed that doing hard shit would make you manly and strong. The strongest will survive over the weak. Learning in the school of hard knocks was a rite of passage that would make us stronger, more capable people.
Do you suck at everything?
Rugs, rugs, rugs!
Those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it.
First noble truth. Human suffering is inevitable. Welcome back to Daily News. I'm your host, Ophelia Syncope. In the news today, is AI hurting our children? AI is the latest threat to child safety to be banned in schools since mobile phones last month and Ando's books late last year. Children, of all people, are using their young, adaptable brains and the power of the internet to outsmart our public school systems. This week, the acting Deputy Secretary heads of Australian state education departments have been scrambling to ensure that all children who didn't previously know about the potential for AI to go undetected in school assessments certainly do now. I don't know about all this artificial intelligence stuff. I mean, what about natural intelligence? I mean, you don't get this old by being stupid. Am I right, Joan? Most of the information that I found when researching this topic was from productivity and entrepreneurial success blogs that publish essays intended to help you reach success. They encourage readers to grind endlessly, investing all your time and energy into meeting your business and life goals, with statements like, "If you're not willing to do it well, why would you be willing to do it at all?" And "The hard way forces a choice. Are you willing to invest the effort required to do it right?" There's also this common theme about people being able to transform the hard way into the easy way using systems and life hacks. And look, while I do believe that capitalism has pushed humanity forward in some incredible ways, like developments in medicine and technology, it's also resulted in very few people ultimately benefiting from these systems of power. With much of the world dedicating their lives to the dream job or the dream lifestyle, which, by the way, most of us believe we are solely responsible for achieving despite systemic issues caused by these inequitable power structures. Okay, so I'm not a neuroscientist, but lucky for us, I don't have to be. In Dr. Chantal Pratt's book, The Neuroscience of You, she explains some key points about human learning. Number one, the brains of modern humans are primed to learn and adapt. Modern human infants are born with brains that are only 27% of their adult size, which makes them defenseless little blobs when compared to some other animals. We're also born without any hardwired instincts. We come pre-programmed without much more than a set of powerful learning mechanisms that allow us to adapt to dramatically different environments. One of the major costs of this remarkable flexibility is that humans are born without any significant preconceived notions about how things work. Therefore, it is our life experiences that help to shape our brains, creating the lens through which we see the world, literally and metaphorically. Your mind is literally creating your understanding of reality through a lens shaped by your lived experiences. Pratt also talks about Hebbian learning, or neurons that fire together wire together. The bonds between two firing neurons can be strengthened over time, like specializing in a skill. They can also be weakened, like when you age and you start to forget childhood memories. Or they can also get tangled up with other neurons, causing memories and information to overlap with other similar experiences, confusing you as to where you parked the car today. Pratt also had another interesting chapter on curiosity, stating that when we're facing the unknown, our brains decide whether to explore or ignore based on the estimated value of knowledge that we would gain from that experience. So, according to these current understandings in neuroscience, it seems that in order for us to learn at all, and encode that experience to our memories, we need to have those neurons firing together repeatedly, developing strong, lasting bonds that allow our minds to reshape our understandings of reality through our experiences. Or in other words, practice makes perfect. Okay, so today we looked at the concept of learning the hard way, from the School of Hard Knocks to productivity masters, neuroscience, and Zen Buddhism. We also watched some completely regular news. And as we can see, there are numerous ways of slicing this one. I'm not going to tell you which way is the right way for you and your life, but I would love to hear what learning the hard way means to you if you feel like leaving a comment. Personally, I think I'll be taking quite a few points away from my research, including the sentiment that it's best to give things the time and effort that they deserve instead of cutting corners, and remembering to appreciate that some of the harder paths in life are going to be unavoidable, but can ultimately benefit me and my understanding of the world. Okay, that is it from the Daily Mind Trap. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. All right, let's do this.